morning from my backyard from behind enemy lines here in Southern California on a nice cloudy day so far. It'll heat up later. Anyways, I just want to address some thoughts on my mind and maybe some of your mind as well. Recently we had the debacle there in New York where former President Trump was guilty on 37 felony accounts, all of which was a big sham trial in my opinion. But nonetheless, it's in our history now. I think we've crossed some lines when it comes to our judicial system that there's no turning back from now. I was a little shocked to say the least. I think much of America was shocked. You know, you look at the courtroom, it was all big stage. It was all a big facade and setup. You know, but I'm not going to rant on the politics of this whole issue. What I want to really focus on is we as Americans, especially Americans who are saved and love Jesus Christ, should turn our hearts and our eyes towards Jesus, towards the heavens, in an appeal for our nation to come to repentance and for God to move among the pulpits across the land and for an awakening to take place in our nation. We are desperately living in the last days, and so it's time to turn our prayers against these people who sponsor such wickedness, people who financially back all the craziness and the agendas that are out there right now, and begin to turn our focus on the heavens and say, oh, God, intervene on behalf. Begin to set up some imprecatory prayers to curse the enemies and the principalities and powers of darkness that are governing these human entities that are pushing their agenda. Now, I know the Bible is true and we have things to look forward to concerning prophetic events, and I'm all eyes up towards these things. But, you know, this whole stuff has got me really boiling, to say the least. And so, question I have is, did you happen to catch any cities burning after this incident the other day? Did anybody on the supposedly Christian right rise up and storm the city halls or the campuses and start demanding or burning things down? Or I didn't see any of that. No riots broke out. But is it because we're too passive? No, I think many of us are just good citizens, law-abiding citizens. And there is an agenda, in case you aren't aware, and I'm not by any means a conspiracy theorist, but there are people and there are entities conspiring to demolish things that God has set into place. Marriage for one. I'll get to that in a second, but you look at the agenda of the evil, that has been taking place for decades. We've had churches that were destroyed, by loss of numbers due to lockdowns. You had people of faith lost their jobs, lost their careers, lost income because they refused to take a jab. You continually see the degrading and the demonizing of people of faith, especially Christians in the world today. Just recently, here this week, we had a young high school student, a valedictorian, which means he excelled in school, get up and during his speech begin to go off course and testify and encourage his fellow students to look towards Jesus Christ, and they refused to give him his diploma. Why? Because talking about his faith? Anyhow, they've been ruining the economy. It's crazy, to say the least. They've turned our inner cities into killing fields with their crazy laws and their lack of, intervention with the laws that are already in place. They have dismantled, sensible teaching with the removal of male and female, genders and all the confusion. This month, today, we start, whatever Pride Month it is. We start that, yet there's only one day recognized for fathers, one day recognized for mothers. And, Lord knows they've, commercialized Easter and Christmas. But anyways, I rant. They've been grooming our children with perversion in our schools, for a long time. They've allowed an invasion in our southern border by, and I'm not against this by any means. I'm all for, reaching the people. And if they're going to come to our nation, I think we need to reach them, open our doors, and preach the gospel to them, because they are all valuable. But there are others that are coming across the border that have ill intentions, to say the least. These people come who have criminal backgrounds. Some are supported by the cartel. Some are a whole list of things that go on, and it's to destroy our nation. And they've started wars, senseless wars, for whatever reason they think is justified. It's not justified. They've flooded our nation with drugs through, both legal and illegal things. They've controlled elections, by thievery and miscommunication, and by the force of the legislated powers that be. They've weaponized our judicial system to go against anybody that they dislike. It doesn't matter who they are, where they come from. The massive homelessness in our nation is a crisis. They're pushing racial hatred constantly. The list goes on and on and on and on in America. And meanwhile, some Christians tend to just either are blind to the realities of what's taking place, or willfully ignorant to what's going on. And I'm here to say that, something needs to change. And we need to wake up, America. We need to start praying and believing God to help us and to intervene in our nation. We need to pray like never before, because it's getting late in the hour, and I believe if one person can go and win one other person to Christ, and take that on to follow up on them and encourage them and to get them locked into the kingdom. And if every one of us can do that, we can see a tip, a change, a turning point come. But, we as Christians have to take that individual responsibility to say, you know what, I'm going to go win somebody to Christ. I'm going to be a testimony in the midst of darkness and chaos that's taking place. I'm going to stand my ground. I'm going to live for God. I'm going to be a witness in these last days, because my Lord is coming soon, and we have to rescue as many as we can. There's lots of reasons to be mad. There's lots of reasons to be upset. There's lots of things to be, lots of things that we need to consider, but let us always keep our eyes on Jesus Christ. And so that's all I got for today. So until next time, keep on keeping on, keep fighting, and win as many as you can.